I'm kind of used by now to relationships ending. Somewhere along the way, I convinced myself that this 6 month situationship wasn't going to. But you know what? We're here. Reality always comes after delusion, as in order always comes after chaos. So, you know what? We're here. And you know what? This is a good thing. It's a good thing the 6 month situationship ended for me because now you guys can benefit from the wisdom and you don't have to go through what I go through if you can listen to what I have to say. Okay? And some of the stuff that I say you may disagree with, and that's fine. I just feel like this is kind of where my mind has gone now that I'm kind of coming off the grieving process. Okay? You ready? Okay. So, number one, the first epiphany that I've realized in the best relationships that come to you are the ones that you're not looking for. And I know you don't want to hear that. People do not want to hear that because they want to go out and seek the relationship and just have it. And you know what? And they're like, how can you get a relationship if you're not looking for it? Well, it's not so much you don't have to not look for it at all or not want it. It's more so when you're craving and hunting for a relationship, I'm realizing you always end up in the wrong one or you don't have one at all. See, for this situationship, I kind of was more so, at first, I thought maybe I was just in it platonically, but I think a part of me was hunting and wanted it, you know what I mean? And wanted this to work out. And what I realize is that when I see people that talk about their stories of meeting their partner, it's random. Like it was a friend of a friend or at a party or something like that. Like it's like you meet the person you're meant to be with randomly. It's like you allow the universe to kind of make it happen randomly. And it doesn't mean you don't have to put yourself in the scenario. Like you can go date and you can go to a party or this or that. What I'm saying is when you go to that party, don't let finding a partner be your primary goal. Or even when you go on a dating app, I know that's the purpose of them, but I think it's more healthy and more fun if you go on there just to connect with people. It doesn't always have to be sexual. It doesn't always have to be romantic. Try to go on a dating app or try to go to a club or a bar or something like that and just go to have fun and connect with humans. Just think of it like that. I'm going to connect with humans, and then whoever I'm meant to be with will find me. And I'm especially speaking to women here. If you're women watching this video, I specifically feel like someone will find you. You don't have to do too much to find the person you want to be with. And if you are doing too much, then this is like 9 times out of 10 probably not the relationship that will be the best for you because you didn't allow the universe to put it together. It's something you created, Okay? So that was number one. Number two is I believe that ongoing, as I'm continuing to look for another relationship, or not look, because I just said I'm not looking, but not looking, it's as I live my life and see what happens. I feel like you have to take care of your own needs. See, during this 6 month situationship, or whatever, I felt like before I even got into it, my own needs weren't really met. And I'm not saying it was their fault at all. And I'm not really saying it was my fault. But the circumstance I was in, I was not financially or mentally or spiritually in a great place. And when you're not in a great place like that, you are subject to danger and narcissism from someone else. Because a person that starts off good can become a person that's not so good for you because you're not in a good place. Does that make sense? So for me, at my old apartment, it was really, really hard keeping up with the rent. It was not something I was prepared for. And the plans I had kept falling through and the jobs that I wanted were not jobbing the way I needed them to. So I wasn't able to keep like sanity and worry about rent and stuff like that. Like there was moments where I was donating plasma to cover the rent. And it's like, imagine being in that mental state of like having to donate plasma when you shouldn't have to do that. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I just feel like I shouldn't have had to do that, especially as a student, right? And this I feel like was affecting the situationship relationship I had with the person, because I feel like I wasn't showing up authentically. And I feel like I couldn't fully show up as the stressed out version of myself, because a part of me wanted to impress them and keep it like sexy and hot, and so that was definitely a thing. Taking care of your own needs, making sure that you're financially put together, making sure that you feel good about yourself. Even though my finances weren't good, I wasn't talking to myself in a good way. I was blaming myself because I wasn't able to attract a job or the money or whatever I needed to cover this high ass rent I wasn't even prepared for real. And I was blaming myself, so I wasn't good spiritually or mentally, on top of not being good financially. So it's like I couldn't properly assess myself. And then at the same time, if you're not in a good place, you can't properly assess if this person is the best for you either. And especially if you're going through a hard time, you kind of lean on that person more. So it's like they become your need, So before you get into another relationship, work on your needs and making sure that you're on a decent level spiritually, financially, mentally, emotionally. You're in a decent place there. You know what I mean? And you do that so you can end up in the relationship that you do want. And you don't end up like me in a like failed situationship that didn't even turn into a real relationship for real. So yeah. Moving on, the third one is so important. If you're gonna listen to nothing else that I say, the third one is the most important. The third one is boundaries. Now, when we like somebody, it's like a part of us eventually starts to try to impress them. Even if they did seek us out first or showed interest first, they did. We don't know when to say no. And we don't know when to be like, hey, like, that was not okay. Like, I don't like that. That doesn't feel good. That's not something I want in my life. That's not compatible with my needs. I don't like that. And this could be anything. And this is the thing. What I was telling myself was that I was needy. The fact that I had needs, that I was needy. And you're not needy for having needs, okay? It just means that you have a need. Like, if you're hungry and you tell somebody you're hungry, you're not needy for being hungry. You know what I mean? So when it came to this situationship, the things I didn't like about him, or the things he was doing, like one thing, like he just sometimes would take forever to like text back, or like he would hang out with people and be like, I wouldn't hear from him for like hours, and I wouldn't even hear from him sometimes, and from like the next morning and stuff like that. I wouldn't hear from him till like the evening. And I feel like sometimes that wasn't okay. Like maybe at the start, like whatever, we don't know each other, but towards the end, I feel like towards the end, the longer we got to know each other over like 6 months, that wasn't okay anymore. I feel like that's not okay to do to someone that you're saying that you do care about in this way, in a romantic sense. That's not something that you do. So you have to learn how to say no to the disrespect. You don't have to say no to the person. You don't have to be mean to the person. You don't have to say it in a mean way. Because it's like, I remember I watched this video. I was still very obsessed with like Maya Angelou. And I remember how she said, and I think she's an Aries, and she was saying like how when people disrespect her, she's like, no, you cannot do that to me. And she says she tries to like nip it in the bud immediately. And that's the thing that we have to get into the energy of being like, no, like you're disturbing my peace in this way. And I'm not needy for telling you this. And if the person is making you feel needy for telling them that, then that person's not really for you. I'm gonna let that sit. So for number 4, this one I feel like is important. It's more of an informal rule or epiphany I've had, but I wrote, don't take it serious until they do first. What I mean about it is you don't mistreat them. Don't be an asshole. Like, don't be mean to them. What I'm saying is they're not showing you clear signs that they are fully interested and invested in you, especially if you've been talking to them for a while in a romantic sense, like you've been dating and it's starting to become more exclusive over time. You know what I'm talking about. Don't be thinking about and planning a whole life with them and what's going to happen and this and their birthday and this, because that's what I was doing. I was planning what I was going to get him for his birthday. He didn't know that. And the fact that we're not talking right now, I don't think he ever will. Unless he come across this video, I don't think he ever will. But what was happening for me, I was taking it very serious. Like, I was like, you are my husband. Like, this is like gonna work out and I'm gonna make it work. And I don't think he was thinking like that. I think he was thinking more of like, if it works out, it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Which is not a bad mindset, but it's kind of like, you need somebody invested in you, somebody taking you serious, like serious as a job. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you need somebody that's clocking in for you. And this person was not clocking in. Like, it was very much giving part-time, and I was trying to get full-time, and our energies were not matching. And that was part of the compatibility issue, but that's part of a whole separate video versus like attraction versus compatibility. But no, don't take it serious until they do. A lot of women do this. Don't invest and spend money and do all this stuff and be around their family. Don't do any of that stuff until they do. Okay? Until they start doing stuff, you reciprocate. And when they do stuff, reciprocate it twice. Give it back to them twice. Like, if they do something that you like, reward them. When they don't do stuff you don't like, be like, no, you're not getting anything from me until you fix it. You don't have to be mean about that. You can do it very elegantly. You can just say like, you know, I care about you so much and I really want our relationship or what we have to last. So I have to tell you how I'm feeling. If the person cares about you, they'd be like, yeah, tell me. Because if he was telling me how he felt he didn't like something, I would have just changed it because I cared about him and I was taking it serious, you know? Okay. So number 5, you have to learn how to, and this is where journaling is going to come in, like I have right here. You have to learn how to be logical and learn how to be emotional. Most people are processing it emotionally when it comes to dating. Like, you're processing how you feel and how they're making you feel. That's fine. That's good, actually. You need to also write down. That's where journaling comes in. And you need to talk to the right people. You can't talk to all your friends about it. To the right people that are going to be logical with you. They'll be logical and tell you, this is not going to work, or this doesn't make sense. Like, when you logically look at what's happening, can you two even be together? Does it make sense? Do you guys have the same interest? Do you guys have the same, are you guys compatible when it comes to like love languages? Like, are you guys compatible in lifestyle? Are you an outgoing person and they're an indoor type of person? Are you compatible? You know, you have to look at it logically and emotionally. Is this person good for me? You know, if you feel good and it seems good based on the facts. I'm talking about if you go into a courtroom, what are the facts of what's happening? You know, like if they didn't text you back for a while and they keep doing that, that's a fact. Even though you like them, which is fine. The fact is they are doing something you don't like, or something's not working. Look at the facts and then look at your emotions, and then that'll determine a clearer picture. And it's really good to talk to the right people that know what's going on and know how to help you. Because some friends will make you more emotional. Some will be too logical and will forget about your emotions. So you need to figure that out. Number 6 is kind of more so summing up the video, is communicating your needs. Like, what do you need? You need to know yourself. You need to study yourself. You need to know what you need, because what you need is important. And once you figure out what you need, tell them what you need. And then if they feel like they can't give that to you, that is not your person. I really wished I would have done this more, like told him exactly clearly what I need. And then he could have told me, okay, I can't do that. I feel like telling somebody your needs is the most important thing in any relationship, any business relationship, any platonic relationship, familial relationship, any relationship. You need to tell them your needs. Everybody has different needs. They're valid, they're unique, and they're important. Yes. But I don't want to exhaust myself. But yeah, those are kind of the main tenets and things I've learned from my 6-month situationship. I didn't go into too much detail about it, but because there's like really no value or point to it for real. I feel like you can kind of sense what kind of happened a little bit. But I went over 6 different things. If you just do those 6 different things, I promise you it will prevent a lot of pain in the future. And it will prevent a lot of confusion as you go about dating. Okay? So that's my gift from me to you. And I hope it helps you. And I'll see you later. Bye.